Hey everyone, just a quick public service announcement before we kick off this episode. This is a massive week for video games. It is E3 2017 and we cover pretty much the A to Z of everything that's been going on, so much so that the amount of content that we had to record was too much to fit into one of our standard episodes. So we have split it into two. What you're listening to right now is episode 81, which is the first part of our E3 discussions, and episode 82 will conclude with the second half as well. So make sure you grab two, listen to both. Enjoy the show. We'll see you on the other side. This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Welcome to Party Loaded. It is our E3 extravaganza for Wednesday, the 14th of June. My name's Luke Retellick. Welcome to the show, one of our most exciting shows of the year. All aboard the hype train, because this motherfucker is leaving the station hard and fast tonight. We have the usual crew here, all in their glory. We have Ollie, we have Mimo, we have Jam. Hello, everyone. How you all feeling tonight?
Yo.
That enthusiasm, yo.
Yeah, I'm high energy mode, like ready to rock and friggin' roll. This is going to be a fun night. So it's been a fun week. It's been like a lot of cool stuff. I mean, it is video games Christmas, and we all sort of look forward to hearing about cool new games. For a good part of the year when we're not actually experiencing the good cool games that we heard about the previous year and sometimes the year before that. Anyway, it's going to be fun. We'll be cool. Yeah, has everyone had a fairly full week of actually watching stuff and looking at posts about new announcements and hype and all sorts of bits and pieces? I know that, Jam, you were watching the Sony conference up until just before we were starting tonight. Was that the last one in your big line?
I still missed two, but I squeezed all the ones in I wanted to. There's just been a distinct lack of time.
Yeah. I know Ollie's been taking advantage of our WhatsApp update service.
I have watched none of the streams, but all of the trailers.
Nice. Well, you probably caught all of the relevant content anyway. And Mimo, you've been keeping up all right from what I've seen, so...
I'm doing okay. I love me a good Twitter. So that's been keeping me fairly up to date with the major ones. And then I'll probably watch the Microsoft and Sony ones all the way through because I've realised looking at our list that I've missed a couple because I've just looked at highlight reels and big ones mostly. So,
nice.
But I'm getting there. There's a lot of content. So much content.
So
and
much,
still,
in fact, that we're going to do something a little different tonight and chunkify it up for everybody listening. So do not despair. You are listening to the first chunk, and we will warn you if you've come in at the wrong bit later on. Just keep things nice and simple. So, but that's cool. Like we're going to cover all of the major developers tonight. Sort of go through them in somewhat of a chronological order to how they presented, and we'll split for a break at some point and put it together that way. So do not worry if the show looks like it's a little bit shorter than it normally is. It's a lie. It's actually massive. So, yeah, it'd be good. You're getting super big episode this week. Everyone should be pretty happy about that.
It's going to need to be at least twice that size.
That's right. That's what she said. Anyway, moving on.
Oof, ouch. Personal off your chest there, Luke.
Yeah. All right, well, before we get stuck into all the E3 fun, we, of course, do have a bit of the usual stuff to talk about. So we've all been playing games before everything sort of hit the fan this week. And there's one game I know that Mimo has been checking out that we talked a little bit about last week, which I'm really keen to hear about. So how's Monument Valley 2, Mimo? How's that treating you?
It's really good. So
Yay.
I decided that I needed a new iOS game after my devastating Magikarp Jump experience. And so I looked at both Monument Valley and then Monument Valley 2 and then I was going back and forth and I thought, you know what, if I play number 2, then at least you guys are playing at the same time. We can talk about experiences. It's actually really good. I expected it to be quite hard. I expect it's going to get quite hard. But for now, it's actually just really quite relaxing to play and I'm very much enjoying it. It's
Lovely.
It's much more of a story I hear because I haven't played the first one, so I can't really say. But It's very sweet, and it involves a mother and a daughter.
I heard that there's some elements in this one of actually controlling both at the same time. Is that right?
Yes, and so they move in certain ways. So you learn how they move, and then you've got to solve the problem if they were split up, for example. But it's kind of told in the tale of learning about being a mother and then also learning about being a daughter and growing up. So it seems to be the way that it's going, is that this, whatever it is sort of teaching them along the way, and there's like little life tips. But it's really nice and very relaxing. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it.
Ollie, you might have to remind me if I get this wrong, but I remember there being some elements in the first one where you actually did have two sort of players to control at certain points, but one was like a totem or something. Do you remember something like that?
They weren't like a actual character as such, but yeah, you're right. There was like a stone head thing that you use to interact with the map and solve like two-part puzzles.
That's right, yeah.
Rather than just a sort of single one where only you can activate the things. Very technical term.
Yeah. Nice. So, Imogen, have you found any particular levels at the moment that would be worthy of being immortalised as art prints, like what was available for the first game? Do you think there's anything?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah?
I've taken so many screenshots on my iPad. I don't know if this is in the first one, but there's these kind of stars at the end of some levels, and you kind of have to like swirl them around, kind of like I don't know what they call it, it's gone from my mind, spiral thing. And so it creates a pattern, and then that pattern is like you pass the level kind of thing. It's very pretty.
Yeah.
But yes, and there's lots of there's like a photo mode, and you kind of like move things. Not so much as like Horizon Zero Dawn Jam. There's no filters, none of that.
Damn it.
But you can. But it is sort of geared towards being able to take photos and stills of what you're experiencing. So
That's clever. You want to show off your beautiful game, get people to start sharing.
Yeah. So whenever you finish a level, it's got kind of like a pan out version that you can take a photo of.
Oh, nice.
Which I quite like.
That's really cool. I mean, aside from the artistic nature of the game, one thing I clearly remember from experiencing the first one was that it was one of the best examples of touch controls that I think I've actually ever seen in an iOS game. So
it's very, very smooth. I don't ever feel like, I've got to like press super hard, or that's not where I was expecting it to be. It is incredibly well made. I'm playing on iPad, and incredibly easy and well made to play. So I'm not playing it on a phone. I don't know what that would be like.
Yeah,
I
not
mean,
as good,
phones are pretty much iPads these days, but pretty much. But yeah, the iPad definitely is a superior experience to any other puzzle game on the iPad I've had.
Nice. And do you remember how much you paid for it? Was it
$7.99? And if you haven't quite jumped on board the train yet, like I had, and you want to try number one is at $4.99 at the moment.
Nice.
That sounds acceptable.
It's I was like, $8. That's quite a lot. That's almost like Mario Jump or Mario Run or whatever it was called. Price range, but it is. I mean, it is already well worth it. I'm not that far through, so.
Yeah. No, I don't regret paying for the first one at all. That was exceptionally fun.
Neither.
Nice. All right. Also, Monument Valley 2, worth checking out. Now, Jam, you and I sort of... well, actually, I'm going to blame you for this one because you pulled me right back in.
I mean, okay. So, a few weeks ago, we discussed crafting systems, and I was talking about my all-time favourite, Starbound. And then the other night, I'm going through Steam, just browsing, and I see, Starbound 1.3, Spacefarer update. What? And I checked it out, and now it has mechs and space stations, and I reinstalled it, and I'm lost. It's bad, guys. It's bad. It's bad. You should see. I have, in the space of 24 hours, I terraformed a mountain.
24 hours? It was like the space
Persona?
of 4 hours.
Okay, yeah, it was really short. No, Persona's getting there. Don't you worry about Persona. Okay. It's getting there. I just can't disclose details because, oh my God. But yeah, Starbound. Well, the funny thing was I jumped on a friend of ours who has like a server, like external server set up, whatever it is. I don't know those things. I was just briefly mentioning it and saying, oh yeah, but I wish we could all play together. Last time I tried to set up my static IP and port forwarding, I messed it up last time and did something to my computer because, I'm IT illiterate. And he's like, I could probably set that up. And within a few minutes, he'd bought it and he was installing it on the server. I was like, yes. So now we can play together. Yeah. Like anytime.
And
I
to be
love it.
honest, that is the thing that convinced me to come back in as well, because I was just like, yeah, if we're going to play on a persistent server that doesn't rely on any one of us being logged on at any given time, then
Yeah.
that is super good. So
And it's so cool. I got to the part with the mechs and I went and explored a space station. And it's awesome. And it's just as delightful as it ever was. There's just even more to do now. So,
So I did the mech course sort of training mission for that part of the game, where you
Yeah.
actually have to work out how to pilot it in sort of zero gravity and shoot stuff as you go along and that kind of thing. I was kind of a little shocked and concerned potentially at how much resource cost it is to actually craft the individual portions of the mech if you happen to lose some. So
I think those are improvements. See, I haven't looked thoroughly into it, but you've got your basic mech once you pass that course.
yep.
So the rest you can start scavenging for, it looks like. I went to the space station and started looting everything that was lootable, and I'm getting, scrap station parts and I think parts that will contribute towards constructing mech parts. So, yeah, paying for it outright's probably cost a bit, but I'm pretty sure, as with everything else, you can probably source it if you just explore a bit.
Yep.
That would be my guess.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No, it is a super fun game, very, very sort of in-depth crafting system, and
And it was only $10.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
only $10 until maybe yesterday. Look, wait for a sale, but buy Starbound. In fact, buy 4 so that you can play with all your friends.
that's true. Actually, you can still get that
It's
pack.
so much better with friends. And I found a llama hat. Oh my god, I found a llama hat. My character looks like a llama.
Yeah. She told me that she was playing as a human, and I saw her character portrait when I teleported to her, and I was just like, that's not a human. It's this llama hat. Looks so weird.
Best human ever.
Oh, God. Anyway, aside from Starbound this week, I had the great fun last night of jumping into a bit of GTA Online because I wanted to check out the new gunrunning update, which, as far as things that I like to do in GTA, shooting everything in sight is pretty high on that list. So I thought, gunrunning update, this sounds exactly like
Friends
my cup of tea.
included.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, the update's really cool. I didn't get to experience too much of it last night because unfortunately, just like the thing that they recently did with the CEO update and the biker clubs, there is a bit of a cash buy-in price to get the resources you need to actually take part in the big stuff. So for the gunrunning update, the whole theme is that you are starting a career as an arms dealer, and you get access to a whole bunch of different gun running missions, and you set that up, and basically it's an additional source of income for you, and you can unlock different bits and pieces. Now the trick is that to actually start doing this, you need to purchase an underground bunker. And purchasing an underground bunker is not cheap. So I think the cheapest one in game comes in at 1.2 million or something like that. And unless you have had the benefit of sort of getting some free funds with some of the recent promo stuff they've been doing, or you've played the game a whole heap, saving up 1.2 million takes a little bit of time. So yeah, that's
Unless you have a brother who has a lot of in-game currency
yeah.
and can invite you
Just go
to his
onto a hacker
bunker,
server.
like me,
Yeah.
it is just great.
There is that too. Actually, Ollie, it's funny that you mentioned the hackers. It seems like they're starting to crack down a bit on the hack stuff now, because there's a
Yeah.
new in-game message when you log in saying if you do this, you will be banned, kind of thing. So I think they've got a little bit more policing going on than they perhaps once did. And there was that news thing a few months back where a whole bunch of people got banned and their cash stripped of them as well. So I don't know how diligently they're keeping an eye on that, but they appear to be at least doing something as opposed to what they used to do, which was nothing. So I don't know.
So I have
right.
a funny story with this update.
Yeah.
My brother was playing last night with some mates, and they all bought the new like rocket-powered motorbikes
Yep.
that you can get. They spent an age getting all of them onto the roof of the ride at the top of Mount What's It? I
Chiliad.
forgot the name. That's the one. And apparently my brother was last because he just kept messing it up and took ages to get up there, and they were all going to launch off together. And he lands and they're all lining up, and he says to one of them casually, "Oh, did you get the standard horn or one of the custom ones?" And next thing, one of his friends has just flown off the friggin' roof because he'd hit the button, which instead of horn is now rocket thrust.
Oh, God.
They were so salty, but also, I think, crying with laughter. I could hear them just through his headset. It was freaking hilarious.
That is hilarious, yeah.
Yay for trolling.
That
can't wait
motorbike
to play
has
that.
extendable wings and a front-mounted machine gun as well. So
Nuts.
yeah, it's called the Oppressor, I think. Yeah, I think it's really cool. The other cool thing you can get, which I'm really keen to check out at some point, is you can actually get a mobile command center, and it's basically like a mobile bunker that you can park cars inside of. Actually, you know what it is? You guys ever seen that old animated series Mask? It's like the massive. Actually, no, fuck it. It's Optimus Prime. What am I saying?
Yeah, there was silence. There's no one
Optimus Prime, I know. I can get
Yes,
behind
I'm on board for
Transformers.
Optimus Prime, but no, not the Mask.
They're both kind
cartoon
of similar,
series.
and the other one's probably showing my age a little bit. But other people who listen, I'm sure.
Like
will.
Thunderbirds?
I don't know.
No one has any idea what I'm
Thunderbirds is something I didn't
Thunderbirds.
get.
I know of them.
Oh, Ollie, you're so young. To be fair, they're not really my day. They're more like old man Luke's day. So
Anyway, the mobile operations center looks awesome, and it's basically got a whole bunch of stuff for customizing weapons and things. So you can actually make Mark II versions of a lot of the basic guns in the game and get like armor piercing rounds and incendiary rounds and all sorts of cool shit. So yeah, this expansion is really awesome. There's some mini games that have been added too, which are like different ones you can play inside the bunker. There was one I took part in last night, which was super fun, called
Fallout 4.
No, it was quota, weapons quota or something like that. Or kill quota. I think it might have been called kill quota. And basically what it did is it split everybody into teams of 2. So I think it was up to about 16-player game. And everybody was given the same weapon to start with. And when you actually kill a certain number of players with that weapon, you get the next weapon in the chain. And basically there's a chain of 6 different weapons, and you win the game if you get through the entire chain to the last weapon and get the last amount of kills that you need. So for instance, you start off with an RPG and you have to get 3 kills with the RPG before it moves you on to like a submachine gun. And then you have to get 5 kills with that before it moves you onto a pistol, and that kind of thing. So there are parts of that sort of game where you're up against someone who has a weapon that outclasses you completely, like if you switch from like a machine gun onto a machete, for instance. But that's part of the challenge. So you have to try and fill your kill quota and move on and finish before everybody else does. So it was really, really enjoyable. It was great fun. But yeah, no, keen to jump on with you guys at some point if you're up for it and try out some of the mini games. Yeah.
Yeah, gonna have to get on that. We will see how we go. Anyway, ignoring GTA news because it's too sad and devastating. We have actual news this week above and beyond E3. Who knew that during E3 other things happened?
No way.
Not the rest of the internet, I can tell you. First up that we're going to talk about tonight is going to be hashtag is why we can't have nice things, and that is that unfortunately CD Projekt Red announced this week and came out and were quite honest about the fact that they had been had a lot of their data for their new upcoming game Cyberpunk 2077 stolen and was being held ransom to them by a group of hackers. Now, I don't know much about Cyberpunk 2077 because I think I saw like cyber and just shut down because of not being really a space or a machinery fan. But I like that they
That
sort of came out. Oh, I'm getting there. I'm warming up. Shut your face. Do you want to do the news, Ollie?
Hey, you're good. You got this.
Yeah,
Go nuts.
okay. All right, thanks. Sweet. So they came clean, actually. And so rather than being held to ransom, they said, look, this is the reality. They appealing to their community. Obviously, that if it does come out, they were being asked for Bitcoin because internet. They've decided not to give into it. So they're asking basically their community to still support the game. It's not finished development, so they wanted to make it very clear that anything that was released was not sort of representational of what they want the game to be because they're not at release stage yet, and all those types of things. And I think it's kind of a cool move for companies to do this. And all that I have seen is in support of CD Projekt Red. And there certainly will be people who'll grab the game if it's leaked and threaten to come out.
I don't give a fuck. I'm waiting for this game come out. Water. I do not care.
Well, that's the thing. But would you be tempted to play it if it was leaked?
No. But what's actually been stolen is not like any sort of actual working game prototype. It's early development files. So it'll be more information about story hooks and stuff like that. So yeah.
Maybe.
But would you mine into it? Would you read articles?
Nope.
Would you be interested?
No, I'd avoid it completely.
Why ruin the game for yourself?
Yeah,
Well,
it's about experience.
Given how early this stuff is, I don't think it would actually ruin it for anybody, but there's always that chance that there might just be one nugget that they've decided to stick with from early sort of concepts. So you just don't want to run the risk. The thing that frustrates me with this whole thing, and this is obviously ignoring the immediate irony of a game called Cyberpunk 2077 being held to ransom by a cyber criminal. Just, don't even go there. It's kind of frustrating that CD Projekt Red is, widely held as one of the nice guys in the games industry in terms of being a dev that does all the right things by their players and has released a fuckload of really, really good content without sort of charging a whole bunch for it in recent times, especially with Witcher 3, and really getting that goodwill of everybody. So if you were going to hack a company and hold them to ransom, do it to an asshole company. Don't do it to the cool ones.
Wow, Luke.
Luke will, dear internet, Luke will write a list of all of the asshole companies that you should be targeting.
Wow.
I'm not targeting anyone in particular, just not CD Projekt Red. These guys are awesome. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Go fuck with EA or something, I don't know. But there's no such thing as bad publicity either. So no, that's true.
Even if it does get leaked, at least more people are learning about it. I certainly wasn't up to speed on what Cyberpunk 2077 was before this happened. So we'll see how that goes. But, it's up to you, internet. The power is in your hands.
Well, if anything, it also shone a spotlight on the fact that there wasn't going to be new content for this game at E3 this year. So it kind of tempered expectations in a way that way too, which might not have been a terrible thing. So anyway.
Yeah, it was a bit sad because I do know that was one thing that we had discussed, Luke, that you were hoping to see.
I was so
hoping.
As
soon as that came out, I thought, oh no, sad days. But that's all right, you got plenty of other things. I would be
better off having my expectations tempered before the event than waiting during one of the press conferences and being disappointed that way. So I'm okay with it.
It's definitely not a case of asking for forgiveness later in terms of E3 releases that people are expecting.
It's fine. I was hoping for two things this year and I got the other one, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, exactly right. Only one company that I could think of could get away with making a massive announcement during E3, not being really present at E3, and still get quite as good a response as Blizzard has with their new announcement of their Lunar Colony map, which is due out next week on the 20th of June, which is nuts. So it just feels like we're getting lots and lots of stuff from Overwatch at the moment. They released a video. It's about 8 minutes long. And what it really does is showcase just how much love and attention the team of Overwatch paid to their maps. They talk about what they really wanted to do here is create the lunar colony that Winston was part of, with the group of guerrillas, taking elements that you've already seen in the short and putting them in. They don't stop there. They talk about how exciting it is to decorate and put little bits and pieces around, make it look lived in. And on top of all that, they've made a map which hopefully will be super fun to play. One area will even be lowered gravity, which means that will impact the way that you move and the way that you play.
That sounds cool.
It sounds super cool. The video has Bastion floating in space, so hopefully someone rescues him before he just heads off into the abyss. But he's in turret mode, so Bastion being able to move in turret mode.
That's terrifying.
Question mark. Being booped by Winston across the map. I don't know. Turrets.
I'm okay with this.
Torb's turrets. Nobody knows how all of this is going to work. It's just an announcement, but it looks really cool. So I know that the Overwatch fans who listen to this will probably be already across the video, but if not, it's worth having a look just to see how much Blizzard seems to care.
Well, I think after putting that jump pad in the Oasis map, people have been pretty open to the idea of having some environment changing sort of little bits in maps and experimenting with that. So this sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does. It does. And probably the only space that I will abide will be with my man Winston. So I'm super pumped for that. As a Winston main, I think I can happily say that now. I think I'm getting there. Mm-hmm. The next item for news, because we've got so much to get through. So Square Enix have dropped a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer ahead of E3. So trying to get, maybe it's a case of, okay, we're not going to give you anything during E3, but here's, something beforehand. The end of the trailer, which has lots of different characters, all the characters you know and love, and some new ones. It says that you will see a further trailer at the Disney Expo that's coming up at the end of this month, I think.
Yeah, 15th of July.
There you go. Sorry, mid next month.
Yeah,
totally wrong. But I'm not really a Kingdom Hearts fan. Is anyone a Kingdom Hearts player?
Yeah. Well, I loved the first, and the second one just lost me.
It seems, from the outside, it seems like a weird jumble of characters, but it's Disney, so I'm really torn.
With keys.
Yeah.
With keys.
The Keyblades
Yeah.
thing is quite interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing is that it's actually, the trailer has arrived on the 4-year anniversary of the game's original announcement at E3 in 2013.
Aww.
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Inside news.
But it wasn't an accident. It was actually revealed during a special. They had like a Kingdom Hearts Orchestra World Tour concert, which was happening in LA, and they debuted the announcement in the trailer there. So there you go.
It's pretty cool.
Neat.
You know, Disney. So you'll hear more about that in mid-July, but I'm sure that sort of sated everybody who was expecting something about that at E3. The final thing that we have to release to talk about today is a release by Valve of the Dota 2 co-op campaign mode. I am going to put up my hands and say that I have no clue what this means. Can somebody help me?
Well, I mean, Dota 2 is not typically a co-op game as far as campaign play goes. Like it's a MOBA. So this is a new way to play that's a bit of a change to what people are used to. So the thing they've released is called Siltbreaker. And it's kind of like one of those things that has been requested for a while, like a story campaign as opposed to just the standard sort of multiplayer MOBA style gaming. And so they've released it, and it's got a few hints in there of some new characters and things like that. But the thing that I keep on hearing about this particular expansion, if you like, is that it is absolutely nuts hard. So people have been having a bit of a struggle sort of getting through it. Even some of the seasoned players have been finding it really difficult. So just for a massively widely popular game as Dota is, it seems cool that they can look at doing stuff like this. It would be like, I'd almost equate it to when Overwatch does their seasonal events, which are the PvE stuff. It's kind of like, a novelty item like that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not really much of a Dota player, but I can see why that would be popular. Especially if you want to play with friends, which we all know we're big fans of. But at the moment, we have so many options for the rest of the year because of our main topic today.
Holy shit, yeah. So, oh man, this is one of my favorite episodes of the year when we talk about E3. So, I mean, for anyone who has not been paying attention, of course, E3 is the Electronic Entertainment Expo, and big annual event that this year was held in, I want to say, God damn it, I actually don't know. Los Angeles. All right, so I know that it's 25 minutes away from Hollywood because that's where the EA event happened. But anyway, I don't know LA very well. Anyhow.
Even I knew that one.
It is basically the time where a whole bunch of video game developers, not all of them, there are some notable absences, Blizzard being one that doesn't tend to do a lot at E3. They have their own events throughout the year. Release a whole bunch of information and trailers and previews and stuff for titles that are coming up in the near future or sometimes the fucking far future, depending on which company we're talking about.
So far away.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, some of them have dates, some of them don't, but generally speaking, the entire event is a huge hype machine that a lot of people sort of pay attention to each year because it is literally video game Christmas as far as the media is concerned. So the way that it actually works logistically is that there is a whole bunch of press conferences that happen prior to when E3 actually opens as an event. It traditionally has been a media and industry event, but for the first time this year, they actually opened up the doors and released tickets to the general public, which in the next week or so, it's going to be really interesting to see the feedback on that and how that went. I think that, probably the theme I'm picking up so far is that it's absolute chaos and that a lot of the developers are not necessarily equipped to handle the crowds like they thought they were. And a lot of the mainstays in the industry that have sort of enjoyed, going to E3 from a professional standpoint, not having to fight with crowds of the general public, are probably a little bit miffed about having to fight with crowds of the general public. But, it is what it is. And I think that as the media model for video game information moves further and further away from large physical events and more towards a streaming and video release and sort of leaking ahead of dates sort of format, E3 needs to find a way to stay viable, and I think actually getting the public involved is the natural progression with that, and probably where they had to go at the end of the day. So yeah, anyway.
One of the biggest things, I will mention that one of the biggest things for this year that I noticed is that they have invited a lot of what they are calling influencers, which were invited last year. Sort of influencers and sort of, I guess, some of the general public were invited as opposed to this year. But this year they've really focused on people who are influencers on YouTube or Twitch or other streaming services, just making sure that they're getting them playing the game, and they will stream. So, for example, Battlefield 2 had a stream with 30 odd different people playing on one map, and you could watch each of their streams and watch them play it, and they got to take home the footage, and they're making them into vlogs and let's plays and all sorts of stuff. So there really is a great big nod to the YouTube and Twitch and general streaming community this year, which is a big step and a logistical nightmare, I'm sure, behind the scenes, but they're making it work.
I think one thing that works particularly well for a lot of companies in that respect is that a lot of these influencers that they sort of reach out to for their various different game sort of titles are dedicated to those particular games or those particular genres. Whereas if you interact with your mainstream media, like your Polygons and your Kotakus and your IGNs and GameSpots of the world, like a lot of the people you're going to be talking to at those different outlets are kind of jacks of all trades and not necessarily specialists in one particular game or area. So when you're dealing with those influencers, you can kind of guarantee to a certain extent that not only are you speaking to someone who really understands what you're putting out, but that their audience also is on that same wavelength as well. So you're not diluting your message to the broader public, which makes a lot of sense, I think. So there you go. So anyway, we're going to tackle this in somewhat of a chronological order because the conferences sort of kicked off a few days ago, and we started with EA and worked our way right through to Nintendo. There are kind of like 7-ish in total, if we count the PC stuff, which wasn't your traditional conference. It was more of a gaming show where there was a whole bunch of releases and trailers and things launched anyway. So we'll go through that. But yeah, we're going to go through each in turn, talk about the major stuff, the things that really piqued our interest, and just have a good old jolly chat about cool games for the next hour or two. So how does that sound, everyone?
All aboard the hype train!
Absolutely.
Choo choo.
True, motherfucker.
True indeed. All right, so we're going to kick off with EA. Now, EA is an interesting one because they actually didn't hold an E3 press conference per se. They actually hold a separate event now, which is outside of the main area called EA Play. The first time they did this was last year. This year, they've moved it even further. I think last year was actually over the road from the main convention center. This year, they've actually moved it over the other side of the city. So, this is the one that sort of kicked it all off, and probably a good one to kick it all off, really, because it was a bit shorter than some of the others, and didn't necessarily need to sort of keep up with the hype as much as some of the other ones. But there was some interesting releases and some notable bits and pieces. So let's kick in now. What do you guys want to talk about first? Someone call out a name and let's chat about it.
All right, I'll jump in.
Go.
So the first game that really caught my eye out of all of these conferences was one I hadn't heard of before. I'm pretty sure it was the first announcement, and that was called A Way Out, which looks fascinating. So it's like a Prison Break style storyline, which, according to the footage, looks like it takes place both within and outside the prison. It looks heavily choice-driven, but most fascinatingly, it is co-op only. You cannot play this game single player. You have to play either couch co-op or co-op online, because there are two main protagonists and their stories are so interwoven and their choices affect one another so greatly, and they need to be, it looks like, occurring concurrently, that's the only way you can play it. It's being developed by Hazelight, and it looks so fascinating. It looks really mafioso, like these characters look gritty, and you can tell there's just so much driving them to get out of prison. You don't know their background, you don't know why they're in there or if they should have been in there, but it looks like they're just introduced with a lot of opportunities to develop a way to escape and then to survive outside. And at each point you have to decide which way they're going to go. Are they going to be crafty? Are they going to be subtle? Are they going to just be violent? And yeah, really fascinating.
You've sold me, Jam.
Yeah? Yeah. Oh, it was just so cool and unexpected.
Only
it's
if
not
you'll
out
escape
till-
prison with me.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, future
Every
for
time.
life.
It's out early next year. It's going to be available on PC, Xbox, and PS4.
Yeah. So just to put a bit of context around this, the devs are actually the studio you mentioned already is Hazelight, but it's actually a new studio formed from the guys that were behind Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Yeah.
So the co-op gameplay thing is something that they're not new to, because that was a big thing.
Yeah,
of
it's
that
their
game.
passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was so cool. Just one of them hopped up on stage to talk about it and introduce it, and it was just so clearly a passion project of theirs that they've built up into this extraordinary thing. The graphics looked great. Everything about it looked, absolutely schmick. Like, it was just polished and wonderful to watch. So, yeah, I'm very keen on that one. And I wasn't expecting to discover something so different and unique. I don't think I've heard of a co-op only game before of that sort of caliber and size.
The gameplay looked a little Uncharted-like to me.
I wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has to be on semi-rails, especially when the two characters split. It looks like you'll get the opportunity to actually be going through the narrative in different areas, doing different things, trying to achieve an outcome. So I guess that's going to impact, how you can resolve issues and where and if you meet back up. So, yeah.
So word is that it's a reasonably short game that they're putting together, but with a lot of replay value with things that change depending on, how you approach stuff on the subsequent playthroughs, which I think is good. Because I think if you're going to make a game co-op only, you probably don't want to make it too long because you're not necessarily going to always have the opportunity to sort of save and come back to it with the same person later.
I hope it's as long as they want it to be.
Yeah, true.
I want to explore it all.
What do you guys think of the idea of a game that is only co-op only like that, though? Do you think that'll be a major sticking point for selling units, or do you think it'll be fun?
It's genius.
Yeah?
It
I think
depends
it's
probably
it's so smart.
Yeah. If you can, it depends how much communication is required. I'm wondering if it could be Journey-esque and you could jump online with someone else and not maybe directly communicate over comms, but somehow through some mechanic in the game,
Kind of like
help
how
each other
Portal 2
out.
did it,
Yeah. Just
with the
something neat
pointing
like
and
that.
the indicator thing.
Yeah. Or even just through dialogue choices to give an indication. No, yeah, let's, kill all the guards. Or, oh, no, let's play it cool and make like we're, passive, meek. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure there's going to be more announcements because that was the very first. But yeah, quite interesting.
Sweet.
The fact that it's also couch co-opable and online is really cool. So that will make it a lot easier for a lot of people to play it co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was the game that pretty much started the hype train for me because I saw it and went, this is new, this is cool. E3 started, I'm feeling great.
Yep.
Except it hadn't technically started.
Yeah, exactly.
No. There was a lot of sports ball in
So
the
much
EA.
sports ball.
I'm just not a sports game.
Sports Ball 18.
But so many sports balls 18.
Yeah, Madden NFL, FIFA, NBA Live. I mean, they all look good, but
Yeah.
they're not really our kind of thing. So
Yeah, they looked pretty.
yeah.
I can see how they're improving just based on the snippets I see each E3.
Well, one thing they seem to really be doubling down on with the sports games is doing the story mode stuff for single player runs through. So,
True.
I mean, they did it already with FIFA, I think it was last year, but now the Madden game has a story mode called Long Shot, which sort of chronicles the sort of career of a player that you go through as well. And they're trying to sort of build up those characters, which I think is a cool idea. It's a hell of a lot more interesting than just, a sports game that you play against the AI or against other people. So, yeah.
And I like that the NBA Live had the league games and also the street games. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a neat feature.
Yeah. Nice. Well, Ollie, what caught your attention?
All right, no surprises for me from EA. The thing that caught my attention, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Not a surprise there. So here's the follow-up. Now you got your prequel pew-pews, you've got your main trilogy pew-pews, you've even got your sequel pew-pews in there. So graphically, looks even more gorgeous than the first Battlefront, which is, that's a decent step up because the first Battlefront was not an ugly game. You get to play all the cool characters. I'm presuming they're going to work similar to the first one, where they're power-ups that you pick up throughout the level, which would be cool.
You get credits throughout the game that you can spend.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, you can even spend it on mechs and weapon upgrades and things like that.
Yep, for the reinforcements and stuff that they show in the trailer. That's neat. They do also show that there's going to be some space stuff as well, so that people do love the dogfighting. So, because X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter was the greatest Star Wars game ever made. And so they want to put that piece of pie in there as well. So there's going to be, they showed like an asteroid thing going on with some X-Wings and some TIE Fighters and the Millennium Falcon in there as well, so that should be pretty fun. And they also previewed the sort of campaign that you're going to be playing as the Imperials.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
Infernal
interesting.
Squad.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
so
that's
I'm
what
looking
I
forward
saw.
to that.
Yeah, it's the story mode. I think part of it, or some of the online play, is what they got all the influencers to play. So you're going to be seeing a lot of like them actually playing the game, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's not my deal, like shooting stuff, but it looks really fun, and you know they all tend to seem to enjoy it. And and it held up. It was, E3's usually the curse for big online multiplayers, but it held up when all of these people were playing it together. So
yeah,
good
that
for
was
them.
cool.
Yeah.
They were playing the Assault on Theed 20v20 match, and it was hilarious watching someone crash right at the start. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Darth Maul owned it.
Oh, he was disgustingly overpowered by the look of it.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
Ray died
But he
straight
should
away.
be.
Han
Yeah.
Solo died straight away.
So Bernie Burns from Rooster Teeth got an upgrade to become Han Solo and ran into a room, and you can see it on his vlog on his own channel
was
and on the
Bernie?
Rooster Chef channel. At one stage, he was Han Solo.
Oh.
He runs and he walks out of the door and immediately meets Darth Maul and gets cut in half. So that was Bernie Burns, everybody. Yeah. So he came fourth on his team. So he didn't do too badly, not too badly.
Nice. Well, they showed a little bit of the sort of upcoming DLC characters for it as well. They're going to release Finn and Captain Phasma as the first sort of free DLC pack for it, I believe. So that'll sort of be in there, but not immediately, which is cool. But yeah, I
For
thought
free
it looked
too.
really good.
Their season content's going to be free.
Oh yeah, that was the other big point. Yeah.
Madness.
So
Also, they
big part of their
reckon-
presentation was sort of words along the lines of, "We've heard your feedback and we've determined not to fuck up the same way we did last time."
There was some positive feedback and there was some constructive feedback. That's so good.
Yeah, exactly.
They're saying that it's got 3 times the content of Battlefront 1. So yeah, they really have listened, it looks like, but time will tell. Everyone playing it looked to be having an incredible amount of fun.
Yeah. As much as I'm not a massive fan of the Star Wars prequel movies, the whole nature of massive fights involving the Trade Federation
the Clone
drones,
Wars.
yeah, that looks really cool. It appeals a great deal.
I'm on board for that.
Yeah,
Speaking of other battles, actually,
Well,
Battlefield 1.
if we're going to move on to Battlefield 1, just before we do, I want to mention one last thing about Battlefront. Just in
right,
terms of the
I'll give it to
presentation, I thought it was a really cool thing for them to actually bring out Janina Gavankar, the female protagonist.
Yes. She was fantastic.
Yeah, so the actress who's actually playing her, she did a big bunch of the presentation and she did a fucking bang-up job, so well done. And that was one of the first times I actually remembered like a game character coming out and doing the prezzo for an E3 thing. So yeah, that was really awesome. Anyway, over to Battlefield 1. Go, Ollie.
yes. So there's new Battlefield 1 stuff coming out. It is called In the Name of the Tsar.
Should totally have been called Tsar Wars, but anyway.
Oh my god.
I'm going to ignore that. So it's an expansion for Battlefield 1, which was a pretty cool game, where you're going to get 6 new maps focusing on the Russian front. So you've got your horses with the lancers, you've got your big trains, you've got your shotguns, you've got your
And the
planes,
winter.
you got the winters,
And the night
tanks.
times.
You got all the bits and pieces, and it looks pretty good. I will probably enjoy this expansion. So I will play it. I'll try out all the new maps. I don't know if anyone else from this podcast will join me.
Probably
Maybe.
not. I don't know.
I'll give it a go. And it'll be enjoyable, and I'll probably rage at the fucking snipers still, but we'll see how we go.
Well, it's out in September, so it really comes down to what else is going to compete for the September slot for me.
So
That's very
many
fair.
things. I've got a list for you, Luke.
Shit, I shall refer to Mimo's
So yeah,
list.
Battlefield 1, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Shall we then refer to Mimo's list for the next part?
Well, the only other thing that sort of caught my eye was the Need
Solid.
for Speed Payback trailer, which is normally a game that I wouldn't give two shits about, but it actually looked kind of cool. The high stuff was interesting. Looked like there was a bit of vehicle by vehicle combat, sort of running people off the road and doing cool stuff like that. So yeah, if you're interested in driving games and want to mix it up a little bit with some violence, I would highly recommend checking out the Payback trailer. So that's coming out November 10th as well to PC, Xbox, and PS4. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Not bad at all. Shall we move on to one of the big uns for the week? Because
Yes.
I think Microsoft was probably one of the developers that this year, as far as E3 presentations go, there were a lot of eyes on Microsoft because they had some pretty big announcements to make. And in terms of how the console battle is going at the moment, they have a little bit of ground to make up against their Sony friends. So it was... last year's Microsoft presentation was not great. It was okay. So this year they really had a lot of room to step their game up and land with the messaging of the Scorpio stuff and their game library. So the way I see it, and you guys can feel free to agree or disagree, but I kind of think that Microsoft really had 2 big objectives this year when it came to their E3 prezzo. The first one was to land the messaging for Project Scorpio with whatever the new name and the pricing and the where that actually fits in terms of the consumer appetite goes. And the second thing is that they needed to really talk about games because they are behind the eight ball in terms of exclusives and just the amount of games that people are excited about on the console. So they needed to have a big focus on that.
Definitely.
So yeah, I don't know how you think they did. I think they certainly did all right in the latter category. The former is an interesting discussion, which we'll probably get into now because that's probably the first thing we should talk about. So Project Scorpio has been revealed. It is called the Xbox One X. What do you think about the name?
The Onyx.
I giggled.
Each syllable, if you use the first letter, it just says Xbox.
Yeah, I know.
It's odd.
So it's certainly not as bad as some titles they could have gone with. It's still
True.
Yeah, it's okay.
There are probably some quite revolting titles Ollie and you could come up with, I'm sure.
Xboxia.
Oh,
And Mimo. She's going to jump
Xbox
on
2.
in there.
If it was Xbox 2, I probably would have been more disappointed than
Yeah.
the Onyx.
yeah.
It's the Onyx. That's all I can see when I see that written down.
The Onyx. I
Because
wonder if that's going to be
it was the X-Bone,
Yeah.
and this will be the Onyx.
The Onyx.
That's
Yeah,
what-
that
the
works.
Onyx.
I for the longest time thought they were going to call it the Xbox One Elite to sort of balance the
So
Pro
lame.
and also the Elite controller that they've already got. But no, I guess this works.
So there's always rumors in E3 of things that are going to happen, and one of them that came out before Microsoft presentation is that the name of the new Xbox was Xbox Wow.
I'm
So
glad they
let's
didn't go
all
with
just be
that.
thankful it wasn't that.
Yeah, that would have been pretty bad. All right, so it was revealed as a November 7th release date this year. And the price has been confirmed as US $4.99, which is definitely on the upper end of what people were expecting or hoping for.
I think EB are saying it's $6.99 or $6.49, one of the two. So $600 to
Australian.
$700 Australian.
It has a lot of flops and a lot of hurts and a lot of bites and stuff.
Oh,
I
so
didn't
many
understand any of that bit.
It has 4 distinct Ks, and
Yes.
No,
the 4Ks.
it's got a vapor chamber. Did you know that?
I did
Yeah.
know that the
got a
special
vape.
cooling system, does vape,
shit.
yo.
Yeah.
It's
It's
hip with the
it's pretty
millennials.
cool. I mean, as far as technology goes, it's beating everything else at the moment. But it's just,
Yeah.
was it enough?
Well, I think there's two important messages that they got right with it, and one is that it is the most powerful console on the market in history, which is, I guess, technically true. And the second one was that it's the smallest one because they've really gotten
Yeah.
the size down, which I think is actually a big selling point for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've realized that most people don't have these things on display anymore, so it doesn't really matter if it's got like cool flare sides and all of that kind of stuff. And just make it small, make it easy to fit in the cupboard or next to something, really. Yeah, so it can snuggle next to your PS4 Pro.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, they almost had like a heads up with PlayStation's reveal of the Pro last year as to how they might need to go about getting the messaging out for this. And I don't think that Sony did a great job with the Pro launch in terms of giving people a reason to need to buy it. Microsoft maybe didn't do a great job with this one either, but I still feel they probably did better than the Pro because they did really hone in on the key things like the size, the power, and the thing that kept on getting hammered throughout the entire conference was the 4K angle. Like it is the machine to use if you want 4K graphics. And we're sort of reaching this point now where maybe it wasn't the same case a year ago where people are actually starting to migrate over to 4K TVs in a lot more numbers than they did previously. I mean, just to do a quick sort of test with the four of us, Ollie, I know you've got a 4K TV. Jam, have you got one?
Yes.
You do. Okay, so that's half of us because Mimo and I don't, if I'm correct.
No,
Yeah.
no. My
So-
eyesight's too bad. If I had a 4K TV, it'd be such an effing waste.
4K eyes.
Maybe it would help.
Yeah.
I need them lasers, yo.
Yeah, so there's enough people out there to sort of make it, a bit more of a going concern now than it was in the past, perhaps. So it's just a timing thing. I mean, in another year, 4K will be something that is a lot more widely accepted, and people will start to, turn their nose up at things that don't offer it, I suspect. So
Yeah, which means the timing's quite excellent, really, because you want to have the console and the content, the games, ready to go for when the appetite really picks up.
yeah. But that all being said, it didn't really still make a firm argument as to why someone might need to get a One X, especially if they've already got an Xbox. Like, do you want your current market of Xbox owners to upgrade? If so, you didn't really give them too much of a reason unless they're super inclined towards those high fidelity graphics. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I feel like controversial view, hashtag conspiracy number 1 for E3. I feel like there was something else to this that wasn't ready.
Ooh.
And I think that something else was something to do with the VR space, because that's why you need those processors. So I feel like there was something to this presentation that they have had to make a call and say, look, it's no good. Everything, it's really solid, but I feel like it was a 1-2 punch, and I think we got 1.5.
Well, maybe we'll get the second punch before launch then.
I think so.
Like they've got
Hope
time
so.
to sell it to us before it releases, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Microsoft didn't have any VR stuff throughout their conference at all, which was interesting.
Yep.
That's why I'm
So-
agreeing with Mo on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't, everyone's saying, oh, they didn't do enough. And as I was like, I think they know they're not stupid. They're not ignorant to what they're up against. And I felt watching it that everything's really strong, but I felt like there was another reason for that. Like you said, that reason for people to upgrade, and it wasn't quite there. It seems odd.
Good theory.
Yeah. I think
Hashtag
Like
called it.
that.
That's my hashtag called it, guys.
steering away from VR for their general messaging, I think was actually a really smart move for them this year.
Well, because spoiler alert, because we're going to talk about it later, but it was all over the place in Sony's presentation. So that's, that could have been another reason maybe they chose to avoid that.
I don't know if
that
it's
reason.
that. I think it's more that they probably don't want to dilute the messaging on their big message, which is, the One X. They don't want to sort of confuse people by saying it's a VR machine. They want to, make it really clear that the reason why people want this is because it's the most powerful machine on the market and
Yeah.
super small, and it will run
That's
your
true.
games.
Especially because they don't have their own peripheral. So
Yeah.
And that's where I
That may
feel like
change
the Pro got a bit confusing. That's why they launched VR and then they launched the Pro separately. But it still managed to be seen as you need this to play PSVR.
Exactly.
So so maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But it wasn't quite there, and I feel like it was almost on purpose. I feel like there's something else.
Yeah.
So
Well, the pricing
still waiting.
will still be a sticking point for a lot of people, I think.
you sneaky Microsoft, you know you've got something up your sleeve.
Yeah. Well, speaking of something up their sleeve, one really cool thing they did announce was Xbox backwards compatibility to games from the original Xbox. So there's been a whole bunch of games from the 360 range which have slowly being added to the backwards compatibility catalog. And what that actually means is that it's true backwards compatibility, and that you can literally take your 360 disc and plonk it in your new machine as long as the firmware updates have sort of happened, and been downloaded to support that. So the same thing's going to happen with original Xbox games. So as soon as they sort of add titles to the catalog and send through the updates electronically for those, you'll be able to put the old discs straight in your machine, or if you've got them as part of your virtual console library, you can play them as well. But yeah, so that is 3 generations of cross compatibility over platforms, and that is remarkable. That's huge.
It's pretty cool. It's that nostalgia mash, really, that otherwise it seems a little bit missing in a lot of the presentations. But that was pretty cool. That was a good nod.
Yeah. And the first game they mentioned they're going to do that with, I think, was Crimson Skies, if memory serves. But, who knows what's going to be added to that list. There's a few titles that would probably stand out. I don't know where any of them are, because I never actually was playing Xbox around the generation that it released. I think Jan probably would be more familiar with that than I would. Was Fable? Fable was that generation, wasn't it? The original Fable.
Oh, I didn't have an original Xbox. My brother did.
The stupid thing is I
think
actually
so, yeah.
own one, and I've never plugged it in because it was given to me by someone who moved overseas. So anyway.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway.
Does it have a dragon?
No. All right. Anyway, speaking of cool stories, let's pick some games. So, Mimo, do you want to kick us off? What were you eyeing off in the Microsoft lineup that really caught your attention?
I'm going to steal this one because this one, by far, I think is Minecraft's trump card. Sorry, Minecraft. There you go. Spoiler alert, I spoiled my own announcement.
Jesus.
Microsoft's trump card is always Minecraft. So they have announced a better together system, which, hold on to your hats, folks, means cross-platform play of Minecraft. Yes, Microsoft, lead the way. This is what we need. We need the big guys to start leading the way in cross-platform support for games like Minecraft, where you have that online play area, because then it can be used as a case for support. It can be used as a case for other people to expand. So Minecraft Better Together means that you can play on your iPad, it means you can play on your Switch, it means you can play on your PC, your Windows PC, and it means that you can play on your Xbox. And you will be able to play with people on those other platforms. So you can be sitting on your computer and have your son or daughter playing on their iPad and those types of things. It means two things. Number one, someone said, well, that's a bit silly because wouldn't they just make more money if you could buy it on multiple platforms or those types of things? Well, no,
Like
because what you do get, yeah, exactly, no, because Minecraft will also be tapping into the paid content area. So you will now be able to download cool maps and skins and all those types of things, which traditionally in the PC area you can get for free, which now will probably be paid content, is what I'm assuming. Yeah. Also, Minecraft allowed Microsoft to showcase one of their first updates. And if you're scratching your head, that's okay, because Minecraft will be 4K. The game that is based on pixel art will be 4K, everybody.
Word.
And I sent the team a very terrifying picture of a real-life cow pasted onto the boxy shape of the Minecraft cow earlier in the week. So it just means it will be available. They're saying it's not mandatory. It's going to be an option so that if you have 4K capabilities on your TV or your PC, that you will be able to view it in that way. It also means it future-proofs Minecraft. If in the future 4K becomes a big thing all of a sudden, at least Minecraft has that capability. We will also get access to some of the massive servers that Minecraft have, with millions of people logging on every month, with the ability to apply
exciting.
the parental controls that exist in the console world. So it is huge. They thought of lots of different facets. They've listened to their community. They're bringing in community, including community elements. So big people who are contributing to the community and building big maps, those people will be given opportunities and brought in to work with the Mojang team. And it's just really cool, and I cannot stress how excited I am and how many more hours I will put into playing Minecraft if I can sit on my couch and do it and play with you fools, rather than having to sit at my desk. Because
Agreed.
It is a massive step forward, and whilst Minecraft isn't everyone's cup of tea, for those who do play Minecraft, that endears them to that Xbox brand, I think, and that Microsoft brand greatly. Yep. Notably exceptions, if you did not pick it up already, PlayStation is not on that list.
What the fuck, Sony? Seriously.
Minecraft Better Together will be done through the Xbox Live system, which of course Nintendo Switch will then allow you to log on with your Xbox Live. The confusion or the concern from Sony is logging into an Xbox Live account via their PlayStation Network and other bits and pieces. So not really sure. Like, there's a lot of, the standard stuff from PlayStation about why. Microsoft obviously aren't saying particularly why, but there's something going on there. It's very unfortunate for PlayStation players, but they'll figure out. Or I guess Minecraft is available on PlayStation though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to double check before I said something really stupid.
The reason that Sony gave us such bullshit, though, I'm sorry, it's ridiculous.
Well, they're never going to give you the real reason. So some people are saying it's because they feel like if they gave into that, then they would lose out. But it seems kind of like sour milk because and kids throwing their toys out of the pram, because PlayStation were already air quotes winning in the console race, so they don't really need to stick it to Microsoft again. But maybe it'll come in the future. Maybe PlayStation need proof of how the system will work better and more talks and those types of things, and they need to see the proof in the pudding before they'll do so. But I'm not really surprised. Sony lives on exclusives. I am surprised to see Nintendo there, as I am surprised to see some of the weird and wonderful Nintendo things that have popped up in the other conferences. Nintendo are obviously taking a very different strategic direction, which has allowed them to be part of this, which I'm super excited about. I think Minecraft on the Switch is such a smart idea. Cross-platform
Minecraft on the Switch is going to be amazing. It's going to be so good. The two things that got me the most excited about this update was the servers, probably more than anything, because they actually mentioned those servers, they're actually starting 4 brand new ones for it. And the names that they've given are, they've got one called, hang on, I've got them right here.
I thought they were existing ones.
No, they're brand new ones. They're actually launching 4 servers for this particular purpose, like the cross-platform sort of big servers for millions of people. So there's Lifeboat, Mineplex, In PvP, and cubecraft. And to me, that sounds like one focusing on survival stuff, one focusing on traditional Minecraft, one focusing on PvP, and one focusing on sort of builder and creation stuff. It sounds like that anyway.
Oh, see, I just thought they were existing ones that they were porting across to the world and making available. Oh, okay, I thought they had existing audiences.
I would
okay,
totally play on a server with millions of people. That'd be awesome fun. And the
MMO Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's weird. Like, and I was talking to you about this the other day, Imogen. Like, in terms of the numbers of people that play big MMOs like World of Warcraft, you look at the server structure for them. I mean, they've got like dozens and dozens and dozens of servers for each region, and the total number of players that they have globally playing their game is probably going to be less than that playing Minecraft online, I would say. So the fact that they're only launching 4 Minecraft servers kind of makes me raise an eyebrow a little bit. 'Cause is it going to be enough? It seems like a really low number.
Well, I'll say to you now what I said to you then is that even though the cross-platform is available, I still think that assuming that the whole Minecraft audience will be wanting to play that way, they've put 4 servers out probably to see how it goes. If it takes off, great, then yes, they're definitely going to need more than 4 servers. But they're sort of they're testing the waters because there's still a fair amount of people who they want to play in their realms and they want to have their private world. They don't want to be messed with by other people and those types of things. So soft start, see how we go kind of thing. But I don't think they're going to get the MMO level of people necessarily that the big MMOs get just yet.
True. Yeah.
There will be people who develop, the adventure and RPG elements of Minecraft and create beautiful modes and worlds that we can explore. Then maybe yes, and maybe events and things. But I don't think they're going to reach quite WoW levels, for example, just yet.
No, fair enough. Maybe the amount of server traffic that it creates is going to go up considerably when you start mucking around with those 4K graphic updates. So, particularly with the one that they're putting out a free update for what they're calling the Super Duper Graphics Pack, which adds like improved lighting and shadows and water effects and things like that. So, I imagine that'll eat up a bit of bandwidth with people playing online. We'll have to wait
realistic water with cube squids.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Yep.
Super
I want it
excited.
for the render distances and that sort of thing. Looks nice. It's out. The 4K update's out fall 2017, American fall. So, yeah, later this year. Woohoo!
Nice. All right, Ollie, handball to you. What's got your attention for Microsoft stuffs?
The one and only Metro Exodus. So for me, I love the Metro 2033 games. I also love Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl. And this looks like the baby of both games coming together in a glorious mix.
I knew what it was
Stalker
the
and
second it started. And I was
Yep.
like, Ollie's going to be so happy.
This, you may have noticed, I don't fanboy out over much at all. Excitement. No, I'm a very mellow guy. This has me excited. I'm genuinely looking forward to it. They have the dark, cramped underground stuff, and they have the crazy above world stuff with all the crazy mutated animals, and there's a survival elements and scavenging and getting your mask broken. Except now, it doesn't look like radiation's going to kill you straight away. So that's pleasant at least.
It'll just eat you slowly.
It'll just eat you slowly, and maybe some areas will be horrifying and will kill you.
It was so incredibly oppressive when he was underground. Like, just the atmosphere. Oh, my God.
That's what I love about those games so much. The atmosphere for those games is top notch. It's never... Like, if you're out of a base, like if you're out of a safe zone, there is no downtime. It is always just, am I about to die from the environment, or is something going to come out and get me, or is there going to be a bandit around here? And there's never a dull moment in those games. They
Constant
do tension and
desperation.
atmosphere so well. So I am looking forward to this one immensely. It's going to be great. I'll play the shit out of it.
What I really loved, there was a scene when he got above ground where he is walking through a house and sees some kind of savage dog attacking a corpse, and he shoots it through the window. And then just in the back of my mind, my default setting is, okay, now he has to go back out and walk out the door. No, he walked up and, like, squeezed through the window and out. Like, it was just so seamless and, like, they've thought of everything. They're not taking any, shortcuts in the whole game.
Your animation does not gel with this sort of thing. You can't go there.
Yeah, and you use your environment, and it's good.
I agree. It's going to be great. I'm going to sploosh my pants, and then it'll be awesome.
In 2018. It's out 2018.
2018.
Hold
I'll hold it
sloosh.
in.
Yep.
I'll hold it in.
All right, well, Jam, I'm going to throw it to you now because I want you to talk about Bruce. So
Oh my God. Okay, so I played Shadow of Mordor
a bit. I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me. Wasn't my thing. Got bored. I liked some of the things they introduced, the Nemesis and whatnot. It's a cool idea, but wasn't attached. And then they started the trailer for Shadow of War, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll probably stop paying attention. And then they introduced the Aussie orc, Bruce, the chopper. Holy crap. Oh my god.
I totally read that as Bruz. Bruz the chopper.
It's Bruz.
It's pronounced as
like,
Bruce.
I'm Bruce.
Yeah, but it sounds
Oh,
like
that makes
Bruce
sense.
because he has an Aussie,
Yeah.
Aussie accent.
Sounds like Bruce.
My name's Bruce.
He's so good. He's such a character.
He's fucking hilarious.
He's so funny. The dialogue is incredible. So I'm not going to get the game, but I just can't wait to watch clips of Bruce.
Yeah. Middle-earth Shadow of War is also the one that features Matt Mercer as one of the voice actors as well. We talked about it a couple of episodes ago. So, again, I did watch the trailer, same as Jam, because I had to check out Bruce. And it was awesome. I can't think of a better fit for an accent than Australian for an orc.
I just didn't expect that level of humour too, because the main
They're
character's
stupid.
still so staid and like sort of proper and whatever,
White Knight. He's got
It's
White
just
Knight
such a good
syndrome.
contrast.
Yeah.
It was
It's-
supernatural.
It's good. It's out October 10 on PC, Xbox, and PS4. If you liked Shadow of Mordor, which many people did, you will be getting this. And oh my god, if you do nothing else, just go look for a compilation of Bruce the Chopper.
Well worth it, team. Well worth
It's
it.
glorious. It's so glorious. Well done. High five to whoever's idea that was.
Okay.
So good.
All right, well, I'll quickly chat about Life is Strange because we got the trailer for Life is Strange Before the Storm, which is the prequel to Life is Strange. So similar to what we suspected in our chat about it, I think it was either last week or the week before, given the way the story sort of pans out in the original Life is Strange with the decision-making stuff there, it would be very hard for them to do a sequel without sort of compromising some of the canon. So prequel makes total sense. And there are some events that you hear about that actually happened before the main Life is Strange game that it looks like they're exploring in the prequel, like the disappearance of one of the main characters, which is actually a friend of Chloe, who's sort of one of the main two in Life is Strange. Now, this prequel is only going to be a 3-episode arc, so it's a bit shorter than the previous one, which was 5. So that's interesting. But it is coming out on the 31st of August to PC, Xbox, PS4. Looks great. One thing that I'm slightly disappointed about is that the voice actress who actually did Chloe originally in the first Life is Strange, which I think was Ashley Birch, who also does Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn, she's not reprising a role. And apparently the reason for that is because there was a bit of argy-bargy going on with the SAG-AFTRA strike with the voice actors' industrial action. So they decided not to get her to reprise a role and they've got someone else to do it. So there's a bit of controversy around that, which is a little disappointing. But I don't know, it is what it is. Yeah.
They had to choose between delaying it or getting somebody else in to do her voice, and unfortunately, she missed out.
I think it will be noticeable for people who played the first one.
For sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm still looking forward to it. It'll be cool. The first game was super interesting. I think some of the supernatural elements they might have to do a little differently, but we'll see. It's a big question mark in the air at the moment. And there's a bit of rumor that this might actually not be the only Life is Strange title that's being worked on at the moment. There might be another one as well. So, we'll find out at some point in the future, I guess, which would be cool. So, Mimo, I think you should chat about the one and only Ori.
Yeah, I'm super excited and fully wasn't expecting it. So we don't have a date yet, but Ori and the Will of the Wisps is the next installment for Ori and the Blind Forest. My beloved little Ori is fighting again against the powers of evil, it seems. It looks absolutely stunning. It will be a PC, Xbox exclusive. Question mark. We didn't get much detail, didn't get any gameplay or anything like that, and like I said, no date. But the fact that there's another game coming out had the internet literally in tears. So what this means is that I really need to finish the first one. Oh my god!
Yep.
But I have potentially until 2019 to make that work. So
No, you don't. You have
Nope.
2 months.
Yeah,
We have decided.
I put a clock on it.
I don't
put a clock
think
on
this
it,
is going to be a
and,
AAA game release cycle, Mimo. You've got a bit less time than you might otherwise suspect.
Maybe.
no date. I think no date means it's at least a year away, and so I'm giving myself that much grace. But no, I do need to finish it. And I was a bit worried. For those of you who haven't played Ori and the Blind Forest and you're meaning to, I've been told that there is nothing in this trailer that will lead you to spoilers for the first one, which is good. And, a challenge for a game that, although sort of wildly loved, maybe not as well known. So maybe the announcement of Ori and Will and the Wisps is a way to get people to play the initial one as well until that comes out. But very exciting, and had me, this was the sort of first official day of E3, so it was great news to wake up to.
Yeah, that was good.
Pumped.
Nice. Ollie, go for it.
Anthem.
Yeah.
So this one looked pretty damn cool. So this is what's the best way to describe this one?
I can't believe it's not Destiny.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not Destiny is not a bad way of putting it, actually.
High five, Memo. Good job.
Yeah.
Can I just interject briefly with one sort of analysis? There's a bit of chat at the moment about the amount of development effort that went into this game, maybe to the detriment of something else recently. And it reminded me a lot of the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito movie Twins. You guys seen that? So you know how they talk about how like they're both twin brothers, but when Arnie was born, all of the good genes and everything sort of came into his birth, and he got all the best of everything, and Danny DeVito was left with whatever the leftover crap was. I think that maybe Mass Effect Andromeda is the Danny DeVito in this sort of situation.
That's what I said when I saw this video. I went, oh, so all of the quality devs moved on to a new project.
Yeah.
Great, okay.
Yeah.
But, looks gorgeous.
Fuck yeah.
It does. So
Oh my gosh.
with this one, you play a sci-fi post-apocalyptic game where you're in like a big giant walled-off city that's all sci-fi and very much not like Destiny's one at all. No. Where you guys pilot exosuits called Javelins, and they have various... They're
Cool
basically,
name.
I can't believe it's not Destiny meets Iron Man. Yeah. And you go around exploring cool places, and apparently the environment is a big deal. So having like all the wild, crazy animals, and then having wild, crazy weather, and all that sort of stuff, changing the landscape, giant monsters, and because it's all very aerial, it's very Iron Man. You're flying around everywhere. There's a lot of verticality in the game. So not only above ground in the air, on the ground, but also below ground and underwater scenes and that sort of stuff. And the transitions were seamless, and it looked gorgeous, even though I know it's a tech demo and it's probably a little bit over-rendered, because they always are. But it has potential. I don't want them to fuck it up. I really want this to be decent. Like, whether it's
So
a Destiny killer or
promising.
not doesn't bother me. I just want it to be a decent game on its own. It doesn't have to, murder Destiny. I can have two nice things. That's fine.
Definitely does look like there's a big push towards the multiplayer aspects of it, though.
Oh, yes. They were very keen to show off we're playing co-op. Oh, let's invite some more friends. Oh, look, they instantly appear. How convenient. Aspect
I like
of
the
multiplayer.
rehearsed comms. That reminds me of
it's-
the old Division footage.
Yeah. But at the same time, the
It
way
works.
they talk is actually the way that we end up talking a lot.
Yeah,
True.
it wasn't too overdone.
Yeah.
But
And so I was like,
it's
all right,
neat.
that's not too bad then.
It's easily the
definitely
most
voice
awkward
actors,
part
but
of
still.
E3. Yeah.
Oh, constantly. And we
Oh,
always make
dear.
fun of it, and then we play the game for like half an hour, and we're like, yeah, we're talking like the E3 demo now. God damn it.
Oh, man. Yeah, so they showed a really, really brief tease of this during the EA presentation and then the full one during Microsoft. And, man, it was a strong finish because that game looks fucking gorgeous. Looks
Yeah.
really good. Yeah. But yeah, fall 2018 apparently. So seems to have been sort of cooking for quite a while. It was there was a code name that it was actually sort of rumored under previously, which a lot of people knew this was kind of in development for a while. The name escapes me now, but yes,
Yeah, I can't remember.
it's been a known quantity for
Andromeda's Big Brother.
a while. Who knows? Who knows? All right, well, looking down the list at what's left, Sea of Thieves we could probably talk briefly about because we did see that last year, but there's a whole bunch of new footage for that. So it looks like Sea of Thieves now is also going to encompass, as well as the ship-to-ship sort of onboard fighting. There's going to be boarding actions. There's going to be sort of underwater swimming and hunting for treasure. There's going to be sort of rampaging across islands, sort of fighting off undead, digging stuff up that's buried treasure, all that kind of fun
leaving
stuff.
loot to distract the zombies and die while we take off with the loot.
Yep, all that good stuff. It looks really fun.
Yeah. Pirates.
It looks very tongue-in-cheek. as well.
Yeah.
The art style isn't
It's
super
cute.
realistic. It's very cute.
Yeah.
The comedy's there. I enjoy that sort of thing.
Which is a little different to another pirate game we'll get to shortly, but yeah.
Yes.
There's a little bit of a theme. Yeah, I mean, is there anything else that you guys want to hone in on? We could probably just very quickly whiz over a few if there's nothing
Yeah,
specific.
I've got a couple.
Yeah, go for it.
So purely because of my love for the first, State of Decay 2
Mm-hmm.
caught my eye. They showed some more footage. It looks very similar to the first, but it was very exciting for me because the footage, if you're not familiar with the game, doesn't really show a lot. It looks like a bit of nothing. But when you understand how the mechanics work and know the fact that this is going to be a co-op, it's incredibly exciting. So I know like a huge bunch of our friends are keen to play this when it comes out. So that's out spring 2018 on PC and Xbox. Really looking forward to it. Another really cute one, when they just had that quick snapshot of little what looked to be indie titles, was a title called The Last Night. It was really short, but it gripped me. It was like all pixelated and futuristic and gritty looking.
Super Blade Runner.
Pixel Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jinx.
yeah. The atmosphere was amazing.
It actually
and
reminded
was
me
just this.
reminded me a lot of Dead Cells, the game that I've been playing recently, the platformer. Yeah. The art style is very similar to that.
Yeah, so yeah, another one out 2018 on PC and Xbox. I'm going to keep my eye on that one and look for more information. That was really cool.
I've got
I
a
don't
couple
know.
more. If
Yeah.
you wanna. Yep. So Cuphead has a release date.
when?
Hey, September 29th. So September
Hey.
29th on PC and Xbox, Cuphead will finally come out. We've been waiting for this game. It was supposed to be released late last year, and they were delayed release, obviously trying to get it perfect. It's a very cute sort of 1940s, 50s-esque cel-shaded cartoon game, like this sort of original Mickey Mouse where you're two cups fighting basically a boss fight sort of mode. It's supposed to be quite difficult. We got our hands on it 2 or maybe 3 years ago now at PAX Australia. Well worth checking out if you haven't already seen it. The other one is a great showcase of the Mixer streaming service that we talked about on the show a couple of weeks ago. Is a game called The Darwin Project, which is effectively the Hunger Games. But the way that I thought it was pretty interesting because it's basically a last person standing format of game, but that uses their Mixer server. So instead of, cheers and things that you would do on Twitch or whatever else, people can give you items in the game via Mixer a la Hunger Games, which I think is a really cool use and way to sort of show how their Mixer service is actually going to be different to other streaming services. So I think that's really cool. So whilst maybe not my style of game, I thought that was a really cool idea to sort of showcase that. And I think a lot of people will probably give that a go, and it will give people that spark of imagination to create more games that will do similar things. So
Yeah.
double thumbs up.
That's awesome. We also had Crackdown 3 featuring none other than Terry Crews. So he plays one of the characters in there. Crackdown 3 looks like it's going to be the long-expected launch title for Scorpio, or I should say Xbox One X now. So that's out on the same day on November 7th. Not a lot of information about story or gameplay. To me, it looks like a much prettier, more of the same, but I'm not a Crackdown expert, so I can't really definitively say what the differences are. But I don't know.
It does seem to have a really cool art style that's based on a sort of graphic novel style.
Yeah.
Which I think will be interesting in gameplay.
The art style reminded me a little bit of Saints Row stuff, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, yeah. Very similar.
Yeah.
And I think, rather than being an homage to something like Saints Row, I think they're going to use it quite well, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be a good use of the new processing power of the Onyx.
The Onyx, yeah.
I'm making it a thing.
Yeah. And the only other one which I wanted to mention, because being timely, given that Mimo, you recently played What Remains of Edith Finch, is by the same company that developed that, we have a game coming out called The Artful Escape. Which is it's described as a beautiful rock-filled indie because there's a definite sort of musical theme. The main character's sort of, running through these really artsy sort of wonderland worlds, strumming a guitar at the same time. I don't know what the hell it's about because it looks like an acid trip. So
Yeah, psychedelic.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really kind of indicative of those guys, though. So
Yeah.
I love at the end they put the little comment, coming when it's damn ready.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the last thing that popped up on screen after they showed it, which was hilarious.
Yeah. No, that is awesome.
it's the same publisher, not the same developer. Just FYI.
Oh, okay, cool. So
It's Annapurna Interactive.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So not necessarily the same designers. I was going to say because it physically looked quite different to what I remember seeing. What Remains of Edith Finch looking like. Yeah. Cool. All right. So that pretty much wraps up on Microsoft. We're going to take a really, really quick break, and we will be back with some more action from E3 2017.
Bye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.